Hi, this is Mark Miller, editor-in-chief and host of the DevSecOps Days podcast series. The series has surpassed the 300,000 listens mark, which verifies for us the need for this program. We make it freely available as a contribution to the DevOps and DevSecOps communities. So I thank you for your continuing support. Please subscribe to the broadcast on DevSecOpsDays.com in order to receive notice of newly published broadcasts and to leave comments on broadcasts like this. So let's get started with today's show. We have DJ Schleen. I've only said that 500 times in the last year, DJ. We've got DJ with us. He is the DevSecOps evangelist for CVS Health, 250,000 employees, massive project that you're working on there, DJ.
Absolutely. It's definitely taken a lot of work to coordinate, and pretty excited about the year to come.
That's great. To start the year, you have a new book out.
Yeah, indeed. It's
there you go.
Finally got a print copy of it. Pretty excited about it, actually.
What's your chapter about? What do you got there?
The chapter is about the problem with success, and the whole idea of it is, implementing a program sort of by the seat of your pants, and having problems along the way, and then some of the recommendations of how not to continue that, the issues, and how to resolve some of the issues and things that you got to take into consideration when you're planning a DevSecOps program.
We've had over 2,000 downloads of that book already, and the print copy just went live on Amazon this week. Some of the stories in that book are pretty remarkable. I know you read everybody's story too.
Absolutely. Yep. We had a pretty awesome time doing this. It was a quick turnaround for the book, from the time we were in Singapore to actually getting all the information written down. And for 8 of us to pull it off in that short of a time, 7 time zones, 8 authors, Slack was a big help, coordinating all that information. And then the crowdsourced proofreading was fantastic. That I had never seen that before, and we got a lot of good feedback from that for sure. Some of the comments were awesome and amazing, and then some were just like, not too bad, but my punctuation apparently is really bad.
And I thought it was remarkable. You're right. We had about 150 volunteers who volunteered to proofread the book as we were going along. From the concept to the execution to actual publication was 3 months. So to herd 8 cats, literally cats together, that was part of the process that we weren't sure was going to work as fluidly as we wanted, but it was a remarkable process.
Yeah, absolutely. From the tables in Singapore in Chinatown, where we were all having beer and just talking about this idea, to actually seeing it happen is it's pretty incredible. That from the bottom of a beer glass comes this kind of technical book and just stories, and there's a lot of different things in there, ranging from high level stories and what's happening from a strategic perspective down to what's happening from a technical perspective and some of the issues we're having there. So.
That's great. For people that would like the book, just go to DevSecOpsDays.com. There's a little picture of Chris Roberts' mug down in the bottom right-hand corner. Fill that form in with your email address, and you will have immediate access to the download of the book. If you like it, hard copies on Amazon now. So one of the main things we want to talk about too, DJ, is you've got a new workshop series that you're working on called the DevSecOps Days, or the DevSecOps Experiment. Now, give us a little overview of that.
Yeah, this is going to be a great series of workshops. We're going to do snack-sized episodes, and we're going to go from the ideation to the idea, and that work item that starts that whole flow of your DevSecOps pipeline, and we're going to take it right to the end where we're shipping a product into a customer's hand. And all along the way, we're going to do some pretty interesting things. We're going to open source the code. We're going to collaborate on the code as we start doing the experiment, and we're going to see where it takes us. And the whole idea of this is to really explain some of the technical issues with creating these pipelines, some of the CI/CD issues, and then take a look as well at how these security components go into the pipeline, and then we're going to put a race to it. We're going to see how we can tweak it, optimize it. And again, we have no idea where this is going to go, but it's going to be a pretty interesting experiment that we're running.
Where are you going to store the code? So
the code's actually going to be on GitHub. So as the episodes get aired and we start doing coding for that, as the episodes go, the source code will be open source. So we're going to completely automate the creation of development environments, clusters. Everything's going to be infrastructure and security as code. Yeah. So we'll be able to deploy and redeploy this as a lab or as best practices, and take it from there. So a lot of interesting things. We're going to focus on a number of platforms. We're going to take sample container images and some applications. We're going to put some vulnerabilities in there. Nothing crazy, but we're going to start detecting those with some security tools.
With that, I was going to ask too, you're building a pipeline. Name the major tools that you're going to include in the pipeline so people know where you're going.
Tools or technologies?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to try to do it all with open source. And then there are some commercial products that we'll be putting in there just to see the difference and see the quality and the information that we're getting out of it. Because again, when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we're monitoring, we're measuring ourselves along the way. Right. So I think it would be a disservice to just focus completely on open source, especially when you start moving this into larger enterprises and you start thinking about the tools that you either already have or tools that you were looking at acquiring, to try to put those in there and see how they compare to the open source. I think that's going to be important as well. Yeah.
When you're looking at this, how many episodes in the series? I know you've got a series laid out.
Oh, man. It's going to be an interesting one. It could just go on depending on how we change things. But, I completely mind mapped and planned and scripted a lot of the, screenplays and just things like that, how the episodes are going to go, at least the first few. And the mind map that I created is massive. If I would print it out, it would be a nice A1 sheet and be really small writing. So we have a lot of different topics to cover. A lot of just lessons learned from, starting from scratch and really building up these practices.
It's funny when you're talking, I actually, for some reason, had a mental image of Mr. Robot, the series on Netflix, that what you're going to be actually showing is real code. And I think that's one of the big things about Mr. Robot too, is like a lot of stuff when you see in the movies and stuff, it's just bullshit. It's not for real. But Mr. Robot, you're seeing the real deal happening. And I'm excited that that's what you're working on right now too. You're going to actually show things that are going to be usable within the pipeline as you start rolling them out.
Yeah, and we're going to crowdsource a lot of the feedback. So, I want people to create pull requests, contribute to the code base and bring their knowledge in. And then, we'll have this community effort around it. And I think that that's going to be important because that's going to start talking about the culture of DevSecOps. And, if we can do this together as a community, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Who's your target audience? Are you looking at beginners? Or are you looking at people that are already in the weeds? Who's your audience?
We're going to probably keep it right between, we're going to have a bit of technical knowledge to take a look at it, especially from a contribution perspective. But I want to keep it at a level where when we describe what we're doing, we're describing it at a level that everybody can understand. It's really, a problem to actually get some of these tools in. And a lot of people have asked me, like, how do you even start? So we're going to show people how to start. And, again, a little bit more technical than some of the talks that I've done, where we're talking about process and pipelines and how things are working. But this is actually going to be digging into the weeds. So it's going to be showing, technical security, which is pretty cool.
I'm really excited about it. Not just because it's going to be on DevSecOpsDays.com, but because I think it's lacking in the community, that we need something that can act as a technical platform to say, this is what you can start from. This is how to get started. I think you're onto something.
Well, the other thing too is, there's technologies and techniques that we're going to be putting in there that people might not even be aware of.
Give me an example. Like what?
Oh my gosh. Chaos engineering. Let's talk to Aaron Reinhardt about that. Some of those kind of techniques we'll put in. Gosh, as we start doing things with, my mind is going blank. Software composition analysis and looking at some of those things. The other thing that we're going to look at is compliance as code, which is going to be probably towards the end of the pipeline. But anything that you commit or you do something that doesn't comply with your GRC or the policies that you have inside of your organization, the code will actually attest that and then create an incident or even an exception framework for you. So we're going to be doing some infrastructures or some compliance as code, and we're going to actually spark up an open source GRC tool and take a look at that and what that means and sort of explain that out. So not only this is sort of bridging the gap between security and technology, right? So we're just trying to bring everyone together in a big happy family.
For people that don't know, what's a GRC tool?
That's your governance and compliance. So that's your your risk. It's basically a tool where you track your policies, and then you track your incidents, and then you can also track exceptions to the security issues that you have. So, for example, take an open source component you might be using. It might not be supported anymore, right? So you might need an exception so that everybody knows that this component's in place. And then that starts the conversation of what kind of compensating controls you can have. So, and then, just tracking all the incidents that are out there, right? So that could be an attack or some kind of potential breach, or, maybe you're getting port scanned by someone in China. It could be anything like that. But then the policies are basically how the organization lays out their requirements. So, password lengths, what tools you can use, can you access these open source sites to pull things down? What are the requirements for software development, that kind of thing. So
I'm still thinking about your audience, DJ, and thinking, we haven't seen it enough. How far into the weeds are you going to go with code? How deep are you going to go on the technical aspect?
Right down to the gutter. We're gonna get we're gonna have to roll our shoulders up and really get in there. We're gonna start the series with bootstrapping an environment, and that'll be completely automated. We'll probably cover most of it in the first episode, but we might keep coming back to it as we start introducing more tools. So things are going to grow, things are going to expand, and a lot of that's hopefully going to be driven by the community.
And anticipate a rollout for the first episode?
I think we're looking at January 2019, second week. I'd love to do it sooner, but let's enjoy the holidays first, right? Christmas, right?
I'm sure you're going to be enjoying the holidays behind the camera. That's absolutely January.
I'll be taking some vacation.
That's exciting. So we're looking for the anticipated rollout in mid-January. You've got your new book out. I'm going to see you at RSA in March because we're doing our DevSecOps Days, and hopefully other events around the country, because I always love to hear what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. So if you'd like to see DJ's series, go to DevSecOpsDays.com. Just register down in the bottom right-hand corner. You get his free book there. Plus, it'll put you on a notification list when his new sessions are going to be coming out. And we look forward to seeing everybody coming up in 2019. DJ, as always, thank you. Stay warm in Denver.
It's actually pretty cold, but no snow here, but lots of good powder in the mountains.
Oh, sounds good. All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care. Thanks, Mark.